Well, hello and welcome again to a reading through of Plato's Apology of Socrates, and I got up to section 19d8. So he continue with a new paragraph here. So allega uti tuton udenestin, udige aetinos ake koati, hos ego paiduain, epikairo anthropois, kai kremata pratomai, udi tutor alethes. Fairly emphatic beginning here. So we've got ute, and we would expect another ute, but we get an udige, which really is for emphasis to make it more emphatic, I think, here. So for neither is literally nothing, so is anything of these things, and you've got to supply alethes, which we don't get till down here. So for none of these things are true, not in fact if, perfect from akuo, you heard tinos from someone that, and get emphatic, that I, epikairo, it's epikaireo, it's to put one's hand to, and hence to attempt. So not even if you had heard from, you've heard from someone that I attempt to teach men, and now presso in the middle is to exact money from, and I exact money. Udi tutor alethes, nor is this true. Epe kai tutor ge, moi doke kalonenai. Since also this, in fact, seems to me to be a noble thing, aetis hoios te ao, we get the hoios te aimi idiom again, to be able to. So if someone, and it's optative here, if someone were able, might be able, paiduon, to educate or to teach men, hosper, for example, so like Gorgias, the Leontine, and Prodicus, the Chian, and Hippias, the Elean. Now again, you need to consult the commentaries on these various people. Plato wrote a work called the Gorgias, and these were notable Sophists in Athens who taught for money. You get much more detail in the commentaries. Tuton ga hekastos o andres, so gentlemen, for each of these men, hoios testi, now it's singular because for the after the hekastos. So each of these men is able, eon participle, going into each of the cities. And now we get tus neus here, but it gets broken up with something else. So it's they. You have to take the pathos in here from later, though. They persuade the young men for whom, this is referring back to the neus, I think, for whom it is lawful, soon anai, to associate. Proika is it's adverbial here. It's actually an accusative from proix, meaning a gift, and so it means gratis, for nothing. So for whom it is lawful to associate, we might say freely or free of charge, with, from the sonemi, with their own citizens, with whomever they wish. So that's parenthetical. Now we go back to pathousi, they, and it's gone really from the singular to the plural. But so they persuade the young men, so the tutus is agreeing back with the tus neus, they persuade them, that is the young men, apolipontas, having abandoned from Apolapo, tas ekanon son ousias. Now, this is an abstract noun. It means really their intimate associations is the literal meaning of it. And there's a bit of a double meaning here. Sun ousia can have sexual overtones, and probably double meanings here because in Athens the older lover was often the one who educated the younger male. And so he's saying here that these sophists persuade these young men to abandon their own, literally, I'm going to translate it as intimate associations, because it's an abstract noun, and to associate with them, that is with the sophists, giving keremata, giving money, kai karin pros aidenai. There's an idiom, oida karin, literally I know gratitude, so I am grateful. The pros has the sense of, and even more, to show gratitude. So to give them money, and in addition to that, to be grateful, to show gratitude. Epe kai alas ane, since there is also another man, a parian, from Paros, enthadi here, a sophos, a wise man, whom I, aisthomai from Aisthanomai, whom I understand, whom I perceived, whom I discovered, to be epideimunta. Epidemia means to reside. It's used of people who are not citizens but who come to Athens and they reside there, they live there. So whom I perceived, whom I understand, or whom I perceived to be living here, we'd say. Etukon ga proselthon andri, for I happened, having come to a man, so I chanced having met up with a man who, teteleke, this is a perfect here, it means to pay out money. It's connected with, one of the meanings of telos is tax or payment of money. So this is something like, who paid out money, sophistis, to sophists. This is from sophistes, first declension masculine. So who paid out money to sophists, pleo a sumpantes hoi alloy, more than all the others, more than anyone else did. And now this, in the dative, it's agreeing back with Andri in the previous line, on the previous page there. So I chanced having met up with this man, who was Callias, the son of Hipponicus, who had paid out money to sophists more than all the others did. Touton un aeromain, this is from aero. So therefore I asked him, now we get a little parenthesis here, eston ga auto duo quie. So this is the dual of the verb to be, and this is the dual from huios, one presumes. That's always a funny form, huios. In later Greek it becomes second declension, but in Attic Greek it's third declension. For there were two sons for him, so since he had two sons. O Callias ein dego. Now this ein here is tricky because it's not from the verb to be. There is an old verb, ami, with an eta, so eta mu iota, meaning I say. You'll see it in Homer, or some forms of it in Homer, generally just the a, he said. This is the first person, I said. You'll also see it in Attic in the expression eidahos, which we'll probably come to at some point. I can see it actually down here, eidahos. So this is from an old verb which is pretty well died out and just survives in little bits, and this is Amy ice. So this is to say. So O Callias, I said, Amen su tofiu polo a Moscu egenesthein. If, on the one hand, your two sons, this again is dual here, your two sons were born as cults, these are little horses, as cults or Moscow or calves, that's what I'm looking for. So if they were born as colts or calves, Akomen an. Now Ako can have that sense of to be able to. It's literally we would have, but probably in the sense of we would be able to take an epistatein, literally an overseer, but Plato's probably punning here on the idea of someone who will teach. He's connecting it with epistemi, to know. So we would take, or we would be able to take, an instructor, might be good here, an instructor, autoin dual, for the two of them, and to reward them and to pay them, whoever was about, and Mello takes future infinitive, which is here, whoever was about to make the two of them, dual again, kalo kai kagatho, tekai agatho, again duals here. The idea of kalos kagathos, noble and good, is a common expression in Attic Greek. It was the ideal that young men should be brought up to be kalos, noble, and agathos, good. So it's a very stock phrase in Attic Greek. So who was about to make the two of them noble and good. And I think this is an accusative of respect here. It's literally in respect of, this is from pros aiko, to fit with. Sorry, no, it's from pros aiko or pros hiemi, but it means fitting, and it's a participle here going with the aretain. So it means in respect of their fitting virtue. So I translate it here in regard to their proper duties. Might be better there. So just to do this bit again, we would be able to take an instructor for them and to pay them, whoever was able to make the two of them good and noble in respect of, or in regard to, their proper or fitting arete duties. We'd say duties in English, it's duty in the Greek. So this man would be, so this person that you would get as your epistatein, this man would be either, well, you probably have to, we'd say skilled in. This man would be would be an epistatein, an instructor, either of horsemanship, yes, so this man would be a certain one of those, understand, skilled in horsemanship, or in, well, husbandry, or gi or gikone. This is from gay plus the org root of working the ground. So we might say farming, something like that. So if they were animals, or if they were colts or calves, then we would look for someone who was skilled in horses or in farming. Nunde epede anthropoestin, but now, since a duel again, these are two duels, the two of them are men, are human beings, whom ekes in no would, and this, whom do you have in mind to take as an epistatene, as an instructor, autoin, duel again for the two of them. Tis tes toiautes aretes. So it's a question. So who is an epistemon? Who is one who is knowledgeable of such? So is knowledgeable of such virtue, such skill, which is both human and, well, to do with the polis. So perhaps politikes here is like civics. So who is knowledgeable of such virtue, of things appropriate to human beings and to civics? Oimoi gar, for I think you, eskepthai, this is from skeptomai, this is a perfect infinitive, so eskepthai, perfect infinitive from skeptomai, which is deponent middle. For I know you to have examined, or to have looked at this on account of literally the possession of sons. So we would say, since you have sons. So I suppose you've looked at this since you have sons. Estin tis ephrain. So is there someone, I said, or not? Panuge aidahos. Now there's that aidahos I mentioned before, this a from Amy, meaning I say. So indeed, very much so, he said. So sort of, yes, indeed, very much so. Who, I said. Now this again is this ain from Amy. So who, I said. Kai potapos, and from where, so from what sort of place, from what country. And possu didaske, and for how much, genitive of price, for how much money does he teach this? So what does he charge to teach this? Euenos, he said, O Socrates, the Parian. Again, you can look up more on this person in the commentaries. So he's found this guy Euenos, who's going to teach them. He's from Paros, the Parian. And then because he asked him from, who is it, where is he from? Well, he's from Paros, and how much money is he going to charge? He says, penti menon, 5 minae, which I don't think is a huge amount of money, but it's nonetheless it's a price, and it's genitive of price here. Kai ego ton euenon, and I blessed Euenos, if thus truly he might have, or perhaps since truly he might have this skill, and he teaches it, hutos emelos. Emelos, well, it means moderately, so I think the sense is here, he doesn't charge a huge amount, so for a moderate amount, for a moderate fee. The mel here is connected with melos, it's something which is pleasant and so on, so it's generally rendered as moderately, and we have to understand an amount here. So, and he teaches it so for such a moderate sum, I think is the sense of it. Ego goon, for I at least also, and we get an an here, we get verb kaluno, so it means something like I would have prided myself. So I would have prided myself, and habrunamai, and I would give myself airs if I knew these things. Al uga epistemai, but I do not know them, O Andres Athenaioi, O men of Athens. And that is the end of what I'm calling chapter 4.